In the 1930s, the propaganda ministry ordered to produce colonial movies, telling the story of German colonialism and how good it was and that they should get back the colonies, etc. The only way to survive for them is actors, black actors in movies. And he was one of them. That's why you see him in a German colonial uniform. And during one movie on the set, the movie was about Karl Peters, you know certainly as the so-called founder of the colony in German East Africa. He was taken by the secret police to a prison as someone said that he would have a liaison with a white unmarried woman at the set.
The most interesting thing about the workshop, I think, is actually not so much related to Berlin, but related to the different African countries that were in the room. I think for a South African citizen and journalist, it's very interesting to hear stories from other African countries because the situation is quite different for all of us. So I think that has been one of the biggest successes of this workshop, is that we've all been able to really learn from each other and learn from people, in Europe, in Germany as well, and come together and share our knowledge.
I haven't been to Europe. This is my first time coming in here. So everything is just new and special. And to TAS Foundation workshop, it's meeting people that are from the same continent with you for the first time. I've never met someone from Tanzania. I've never met someone from Kenya. Especially in this workshop, one thing stands out for me, like getting to see our magazine and the way we wrote in the magazine and the way it was presented by TAS Foundation in the magazine. It's just so good. I feel like, yes, I've done this and this is from me.
Another thing which I have witnessed here is how journalists in Germany are organized, so well organized. I think it is good because it promotes the freedom of expression, but also it promotes the independence of media itself.
The highlight of my trip so far was just the visit to the Federal Press Conference organization, and it inspired me so much because back in Sudan we are going through a new era of our government, because we just overthrew a dictator and we're trying to build everything from scratch. And this is a really good idea of what journalism can be and how it can be protected, and it can have more democracy, and it can hold the government officials accountable.
It's an opportunity for us to come to Berlin to have interaction with journalists here and resource persons here, to learn from them. It will give us insight when we go back on how to improve our skill in reporting. Apart from that, opportunity to meet African journalists here. After this workshop, maybe we'll have a lot of collaborations with them. We'll visit each other's country, and then we'll write collaborative news on issues that affect us. So it's a great opportunity. And my colleagues, very nice people. I enjoyed my stay also with my colleagues, and I've made new friends.
Well, the workshop, we had it online before we came to Berlin, and I was asking myself whether there is a need to conduct another workshop face-to-face. I was saying to myself that the online workshop was enough, but when I came here, I found it very, very different, because the speakers were really, really, really very nice, and with very expertise knowledge, and with a very nice way. I think we were from 15 countries to exchange our views and to share our ideas. That was also a very nice thing, and I hope we will continue this in the future also. I mean, the connection between the African journalists, we were discussing this issue to continue it with like a network.
What is special for me is the freedom that the journalists in Berlin have to operate, the fact that they are independent to a very large extent, and that facilitates the kind of good work that journalists in Berlin or in Europe are able to do. That is a bit different from where I am coming from, where you have a certain level of control to the topics or even whether the stories that you want to work on is approved or not. We can learn a few lessons from what we have seen so far, also how we can actually set the agenda for ourselves and also push for more independence for African journalists.
Voilà, concernant le workshop, je suis vraiment très contente parce que j'apprends énormément de choses. Les thèmes qui sont abordés m'intéressent énormément, surtout les thèmes sur l'immigration. Vous savez que le Mali, c'est un pays d'immigration. Donc il y a beaucoup de Maliens qui sortent, qui viennent en Europe et tout ça là. Donc vraiment, on a beaucoup d'éclairage, d'informations sur l'immigration. Je pense que quand je vais retourner au Mali, quand je vais en tout cas causer avec les gens, je vais essayer quand même de sensibiliser surtout les jeunes sur l'immigration, les risques, les dangers et les richesses aussi que nous avons chez nous.
I like so much the workshop for climate change that was yesterday.
It's been amazing just to understand the policies, to understand, you know, how our countries relate, to understand some of the things that you probably did not look at critically as a journalist. For example, the conversations and debates that we had on issues to do with immigration, the issues to do, you know, with just leadership, you know, how I think for many of us the questions has always been, why does Europe keep supporting our leaders who are corrupt, who are abusing power, who abuse human rights? But then when you get here, it's when you realize that, you know, they also are trying to find a balance and they cannot get rid. I think one of the officers that we met today at the federal office told us that when you decide to take off the number of leaders because of corruption, because of human rights violations, you will have a very short list. So they need to find a balance on how they can relate. And it's been amazingly eye-opening for me as a journalist, you know, just getting to know and understand why foreign policy is the way it is, why Germany is the way it is, and how they relate back home. But above all, as a journalist, I think I would also like to appreciate the fact, because we've talked about a lot about press freedom. And Germany is such a place that you can use as an example on press freedom compared to my country where journalists are still being tortured. So this has been amazing. Yeah.